Hello and welcome back to my channel. Try to ignore my background, it's very messy. I am in the middle of packing. I kind of spontaneously picked up my camera, and usually I film these videos, don't look in the mirror, and I've got like lipstick on my teeth, food on my face, and I've just come to accept that that's just part and parcel of my channel. It's a little bit haphazard, a little bit sporadic, not very consistent, and I just pick up my camera when I've got something to update you on, something worth saying, and yeah, I hope that the videos that I do put up are useful. But anyway, today's video, as you'll see from the title, is going to be talking about mental health and chronic illness. So if you're new to my channel, my name's Natalie. I have polycystic ovaries and endometriosis, and I suffered a miscarriage in March this year, and that is a lot to handle. That's a lot of things that have happened to me over the past 2 years, so from 2020 to now 2022, and it's fair to say that everything combined has had a real negative effect on my mental health. And prior to 2020, I probably wouldn't have considered myself someone to have any kind of mental health issues. I'm very aware of mental health issues in lines of like the work that I do, etc., but I myself never identified as having a mental health issue. And this year, especially sort of like in the last 12 months, I have suffered very badly with anxiety, with low mood, and like specifically health anxiety, because endometriosis is a very unknown condition in terms of you never know what day you're going to wake up in pain, you never know like what's going on in terms of like your organs, you don't know whether you're going to need surgery, you don't know whether it's going to affect your fertility, and that aspect of having a lack of control and unknown has really affected my mental health. And only recently have I got to a place where I've been able to openly admit and talk about the fact that it has really been affecting me. So today I just wanted to sort of say it out loud. I did put it on Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, go and do it. I do a lot more posts over there about myself, my fertility, endometriosis, etc., because that's probably where people find me more easily rather than YouTube. And I did put up a post on there saying that I'd really been struggling and that I'd actually self-referred myself to a mental health service, and I'm currently on the waiting list for high intensity therapy. And the therapy that I'm going for is very much specific for people like me who have health conditions or suffered health conditions or baby loss, and are really struggling to overcome those things. So I just wanted to sort of come on here and talk about like the mental struggles. I know I talk a lot about the physical struggles and the things that I do to sort of overcome like pain or PCOS symptoms, etc. But today I really wanted to focus on what I'm doing for my mental health and what's been working. So if, like me, you're in a similar position where you're finding that you are sort of trying to navigate mental health, having not had issues previously, some of these tips that I'm going to give today might be useful. So let's get into tip number 1, and I have spoken about this before, and it is journaling. So my new thing that I've been doing is getting up in the morning, making myself a coffee, and going back to bed. Now I'm only able to do this on a weekend or a day that I'm working from home, but I have found not rushing in the morning, not getting up and thinking right what have I got to do, which is what I would usually do, and I'd like listing the things I've got to do, like working myself up because I already feel busy and I've literally just stepped out of bed. So in the morning I wake up, I go downstairs, I feed the cat, I make my coffee, I go back to bed, and I journal. So the journals that I use are the CGD London journals, and I will show you a page. So on the right hand side, you've got like your breakfast, lunch, dinner and snacks for the day. You've got a shopping list, any expenses that you've got to pay, any exercise you plan to do that day, your water intake, any self-care points that you want to put in, some personal notes. And then on here, there's just a big space, if I can focus it, just a big space for you to sort of like brain dump onto the page, and that is exactly what I do. So in the morning I will sit and write about anything that maybe I might have dreamt about in the night. I'm somebody who my anxiety manifests in my dreams, so sometimes I really struggle to sleep. So yeah, I write anything that I might be worried about. Sometimes I wake up with anxiety, like literally wake up with it, which I've never really experienced before. And I do think that's because in the night I'm overthinking everything. So I try to get anything and everything down on the page. Or if I feel like I've got a really busy day, I'll use that page as a to-do list. I basically make sure that I've got my day in order in here, so that when I get out of bed and I've had my coffee, I feel ready for the day. So that is tip number 1. If it's just a 5-minute quick journal, get your feelings out, or write a to-do list, get everything down on paper for the day, so then your day feels set up for you to then continue without feeling anxious. Tip number 2, again, if I have time first thing in the morning, is I take myself off for a walk. I will pop in some headphones, I'll listen to a podcast, and I think getting out first thing and getting some fresh air and being sort of like in nature is really grounding. So that is another thing that I'll do. I will sort of get up, have my coffee, journal, have a shower, get dressed and go straight out for a walk if I can. I do the same route, so it's like a routine. I don't even have to think about it. I will listen to something either educational if I'm in a good headspace. So if I'm in a good headspace to listen to things about like endometriosis, trying to conceive and things like that, and I think it will help me that day, I will. Or some days when I'm in a bad headspace, I'll just stick a funny podcast on. I love the Alan Carr podcast and things like that that are going to make me laugh and sort of try and lift my mood for the day. So that's the second thing that I do, is literally just take myself off for a walk along the River Mersey and just enjoy a bit of fresh air first thing in the morning, so I feel a little bit more set up for the day when I get back. Tip number 3 is either to do a really quick stretch or a bit of yoga. Now, every person I've been to, whether it be like my acupuncturist, my physio, is always telling me to stretch and do yoga, and I felt like it was just one of those things that they told people when you say you've got mental health issues, and they're like, just do some yoga. And I was dead against it, couldn't get into it, really struggled, and I just didn't see the purpose in it and felt like I wasn't getting anything out of it. But now after my walk, I love to just come home, roll my mat out. Sometimes if I'm pressed for time, I'll just do a few quick stretches that my physio has given me, or I will do like 10 minutes of yoga. If I'm not doing any exercise for the rest of the day, I will do maybe a longer yoga session, but typically I tend to do 10 minutes and that's like my limit. I use the Deliciously Ella app, and this is really good, and I use it for 2 things. One thing I'm going to come to later, but as you can see, I just click on to yoga, and there's loads and loads on here, and I just literally filter it to a 10-minute session, but literally it goes up to an hour, and then I can just pick out of any of these yoga sessions, and I will do my 10 minutes of yoga. And then tip number 4, I hope this is number 4, is I will then just sit at the end of my mat in a really comfortable position, and I say 3 sort of like positive like mantras to myself, or 3 things that I want to put out into the universe and like manifest. And again, manifestation is another one of those things that I just thought, what a load of crap. Like, I don't think it happens. I don't think there's such thing as putting things out into the universe. But I was listening to a podcast where somebody was in a similar situation to me, where they'd been trying to conceive, they'd had problems, they had had a miscarriage, and she was like really deep into like manifestation and all that kind of thing. And I just thought, like, what have I got to lose? Like, what have I got to lose? Let's just give it a go. So I just say 3 things to myself every single day to make me feel and believe them. So for example, I won't tell you all of them, but my first one is I will get pregnant and I will carry a healthy baby. And that is one of the mantras that I say to myself. So I will get pregnant and I will carry a healthy baby. And I say 3 different things. And by the end of it, I leave feeling and believing it. And I go about my day thinking, I will get pregnant and I will carry a healthy baby. And that just gives me comfort. And it takes 1 minute to do it. I say 3 things 3 times, take a deep breath, and then I go about my day. And again, yoga, manifestation are things that I never ever thought that I would see myself doing. I thought they were really like woo woo and silly, but actually they have really helped me. And I really do think that you should give it a go if you've got something you're struggling with. Again, with like chronic pain, it might be, I'm going to feel my pain today, but I'm gonna be able to live through it. And just being able to say that to yourself sort of gives you the confidence and the hope that you're going to have a positive day. So tip number 5, my anxiety comes out in me overdoing things. So I will literally run myself into the ground doing everything. I'll have like a list of tasks to do and I'll get overwhelmed and feel like I have a lot to do, and I will work myself up. So tip number 5 is to just pick 3 things for the day that need to be done. Just 3 of the most important things that you need to do that day, and they're the 3 things that you're going to do. And I think that really takes the pressure off yourself in feeling overwhelmed. I really struggle with feeling like I have a lack of control. So when I have got a lot going on, a lot to do, I just work myself up really badly. So I've started doing 3 things a day, picking the 3 most important things. They're the 3 things that I'm going to get done today, and the rest can wait till tomorrow. Sometimes if I'm feeling super anxious, I will write myself a to-do list for the next day. So if I'm going to bed and again I'm feeling overwhelmed, anxious, I will write a to-do list for the next day, close my book, go to bed, and I feel better. But yeah, just focusing on the really key important things that you need to get done that day makes you feel accomplished, makes you feel like you have control, and has really helped with my anxiety. Tip number 6. I have had days where I am spiraling so badly out of control. Like my anxiety is so bad that I really struggle to even get these little tips done. And I have to go back to basics. And this was something my acupuncturist taught me to do. And it is to write a list of everything that you are worried about. Just get everything down, every single little thing that you're worried about on one side of a page. Draw a line, and on the next side of the page, write down what you can do as a solution. So if I wrote down that I am worried that I am not going to be able to conceive naturally, I can write down in the other side, you are taking supplements to help you, you have a good healthy routine, you've got an appointment on X date where you're going to discuss this, and if this doesn't work, you've got this option. So I'm writing down everything that can sort of solve that main concern. So again, another one might be, I have got a wedding coming up and I am worried that I'm going to be in pain and not enjoy the day. So on the other side of it, you can write, okay, well, we can do our practices the day before to sort of reduce their anxiety. We've got X pain medication, which we can take on the day. We can ask for a hot water bottle the night before to ease some of the pain. Like, you've got to write the solutions, and then when you see it on black and white paper, so that when you see it on the paper, it doesn't feel as bad as it feels up here. Sometimes there will be things that you write on that page that there's no answer to, so you might have to come up with a way to go and find the answer, or it might be, right, I don't have an answer for this right now, so I need to book this appointment, or I need to do this research. But coming up with some kind of response to your worry almost helps to ease the pain of it and it gives you tangible things to then go and do to help relieve that anxiety. And then tip number 7, my final tip, is to get a better nighttime routine. My anxiety, as I said, manifests really badly at night, which then has a knock-on effect for the rest of my next day. So if I go to bed feeling anxious, I'll dream about it, I'll have a really bad night's sleep because I'm worrying, I get really bad jaw tension, I really struggle, and sleep is something that I need. I'm not one of those people that can just like live off 6 hours sleep. Like, not at all. I'm like a 7 to 8 hour sleep girl. So I have been really trying to focus on my sleep, and there's 3 ways that I have been doing this. The first one is to put on like sleep mode on your phone. What's it called? Screen time. If you go on screen time, you can actually set limits on downtime. That's what it's called. So I've got my phone to switch off everything at 9 o'clock. So at 9 o'clock I cannot access anything on my phone, which means I've got a good hour before I actually go to sleep where I don't have any screen time, and that has been life-changing. There are temptations to override it, and some days I do, but I really try not to, so that my brain knows that at 9 o'clock everything gets turned off and it's time for me to go and do my bedtime routine. And I don't have a crazy long bedtime routine. I literally come upstairs, wash my face, brush my teeth, get my pajamas on, and then I spray this. It is a lavender sleep mist, and it's basically to help me relax and to help my brain associate the smell of the lavender with the fact that it's time to like wind down and sleep. So I go in my room, I spray the lavender mist, and then I start to almost like relax and understand that it's now time to go to bed. And now I know I said I don't use my phone, but the only thing I use my phone for is 5 minutes of meditation. And again, meditation, manifesting, yoga, all stuff that people always tell you to do and I thought was rubbish, has actually been a lifesaver in terms of me and my mental health. And 5 minutes of meditation for me, I lie down, I close my eyes, I do the 5 minutes of meditation, and it's almost like my body just relaxes. I can smell my lavender, my body's relaxed. And again, I use the Deliciously Ella app. She's got loads of meditations on there. So I just click 5 minute meditation, and then I do my meditation, and then I almost feel like ready for bed. I'll pick up my book that I'm reading. I put my sunset light on. So it's one of those where it's like gradual light down. I haven't even made it to the half an hour before I've fallen asleep. And I've been sleeping all the way through, which has literally been unheard of for months. So doing that lavender mist, the 5 minute meditation, reading my book has literally changed my sleep routine, and it means that I am then not waking up so anxious because I've actually been able to sleep and I've not been worrying about everything in my head. And then I have a much positive day the next day and I'm not waking up as anxious. So these are just some of the things that I've been implementing most recently. As I say, it changes day to day. Like if I have to go into the office, like I don't have time to walk and do all the stretching and meditation. So I just kind of have to pick which ones that I do. But doing something for yourself in the morning has made a massive difference. If I have to go to the office and I don't have time to have my coffee in bed, I take my journal to work, I sit at my desk. It's the first thing I do before I start my working day. It's just picking which of these things work for you and then trying to get them into some sort of routine that fits around your life. Anyway, I have been talking for 21 minutes. I expected this video to be a quick one, but hopefully there's been some good tips in there that you can take away. As I said, go and follow me over on Instagram and I will keep you updated in terms of how I'm doing with upcoming appointments, trying to conceive, ovulation, etc. And I would love to hear from you guys if you're in a similar situation to me, and whether you tried any of these practices and you thought them useful. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.